Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bible in 1 Year with the Preacher's Husband. Today we're going through Psalms 43, 44, 45, 49, 84, 85, and 87. Tomorrow we're going through 1 Chronicles chapter 3 through 5. Now we're going to jump into these Psalms. Now I found it strange right off the bat that I'm going to do this a little different now. That I found it strange that they started out with 43 because 43 originally, a lot of people claim that it was the second half of 42. And Psalm 42 starts out at the title, which was a maskil of the sons of Korah. Well, who in the world were the sons of Korah? Because a lot of these Psalms started out that way. Well, it says the phrase sons of Korah appears in the titles of 11 different Psalms. According to 1 Chronicles chapter 9, and chapter 26, the Korahites were the gatekeepers in the temple. In 2 Chronicles, they stood up in the congregation of Israel and praised the Lord. Most scholars believe they became associated with musicians who were involved in the worship of the Lord. So that's who the Korahites were. And that was the maskil of the sons of Korah. So, there's no title on 43 because it was originally part of 42, most people say. That's debatable. There are other thoughts about that, but that's what I'm going with tonight. I'm just going to go through this, and I'm going to look and point out some things that stuck out to me. The end of verse 4 in Psalm 43. I will praise you with the lyre, God, my God. This to me is David for sure. I will praise you with the lyre, God, my God, because he played the lyre. He was a very artsy and he was very gifted in many different areas. He had many skills, and that just reminded me of David. Now, Psalm 44 is titled here in the CSB, Israel's Complaint. And it is just whining and whining and more whining. But I get to verse 14. You make us a joke, a laughing stock. 15. My disgrace is before me all day long, and shame has covered my face, because of the taunts of the scorner and reveler, because of the enemy and avenger. These verses right here remind me of today. What's going on in the world today? It's not much different than it was back then, is it? You make us a joke among the nations, a laughing stock among the people. You think about anything in the world that makes us feel or seem as if we're the laughing stock of the world, the laughing stock among nations. My disgrace is before me all day long, and shame has covered my face. Shame has covered my face because of all the taunts of the scorner and reveler. Because of the enemy and the avenger. I'm not going to put that into words as to what that makes me think of today, but many of you know what that makes me think of today. Mostly how we get down to verse 22, it says, we are counted as sheep to be slaughtered. Y'all know how I feel about that. We go to verse 26. Rise up, help us, redeem us because of your faithful love. Now that I can get behind for sure. Now, Psalm 45 is titled A Royal Wedding Song. Now this started out to me as if it was a love note written to God more than it was a wedding song. But as you progress through it, you begin to realize that it is indeed a wedding song. It is about a wedding. It is an individual speaking to his daughter. And when we get to verse 10, it says, listen, daughter, pay attention and consider. Forget your people and your father's house, and the king will desire your beauty. Bow down to him, for he is your Lord, the daughter of Tyre. The wealthy people will seek your favor with gifts. To forget and then bow down represents a change in loyalty from the bride's own people and country to the king whom she was marrying. Now, what does it mean to you when I say the words bride of Christ? And then when I read these words, as I think of what it means to be the bride of Christ, and I think of what it means to be a member of that, listen, daughter, pay attention and consider. Forget your people, thinking about the people, your family, the world itself, and your father's house. This is giving yourself over fully to your king, and the king will desire your beauty. Bow down to him. In other words, bow down to God, for he is your Lord. The daughter of Tyre, the wealthy people, will seek your favor with gifts. I found that fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Now that was 45. Next we are doing 49. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah, I got it right. Misplaced trust in wealth. The first thing that stuck out to me here was verse 4. I turned my ear to a proverb. I explained my riddle with a liar. Of course that reminded me of David. Now verses 5 through 7 stuck out to me. It says, why should I fear in times of trouble? The iniquity of my foes surrounds me. They trust in their wealth, the boast of their abundant riches. Yet these cannot redeem a person or pay his ransom to God. Now this is why I have the picture of the bride and groom there, and also the big stack of money on their side there. Which can we choose? It clearly says here that money cannot redeem a person. We get to verse 10. For one can see that the wise die, the foolish and stupid also pass away. That puts everyone on the same level. Whether we're rich or we're poor, we're all going to die the same. It's all we all end up in the same place. Number 14. Like sheep they are headed for Sheol. Death will shepherd them. Those who covet money, those who want to be wealthy and strive for worldly gain. That's what we're speaking about here. But God will redeem me in verse 15. Verse 16. Do not be afraid when a person gets rich, when the wealth of his house increases. For when he dies, he will take nothing at all. His wealth will not follow him down. I've been told that a lot in my life, and I truly believe it. Now we move on to Psalm 84. Longing for God's house. A couple of things that stuck out to me here was verse 5. Happy are the people whose strength is in you. Where does your joy and your happiness come from? Well, from the Lord for me. Verse 10. Better a day in your courts than 1,000 anywhere else. Ever heard that in a song? Better is one day in your courts. Better is one day in your house. Better is one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere. I love that song. Verse 12. Happy is the person who trusts in you, Lord of armies. Psalm 85, the restoration of favor. How many times did we see, reading through this Old Testament, where Israel lost favor with God, but then later on it was restored? Remember that cycle that we talked about? I was reminded of that greatly during that psalm. In Psalm 87, Zion, the city of God. Verse 1, the city he founded is on the holy mountains. Now, verse 4, I will make a record of those who know me. I will make a record of those who know me. Are you on that list? Well, I hope this has blessed you. If it has, click the like button and the subscribe button, and of course click the little jingle bell so you can get notified the next time I upload a video, which will be tomorrow. And we'll see you then for another episode of the Bible in 1 year with the preacher's husband. Dun dun dun.